This is Akron, one of the worst teams in college football. They haven't had more than 2 wins in a season for over 5 years. But today, they are going to help me launch my coaching career. See, I am an unproven coach with no track record to my name. So I have taken over this dumpster fire of a franchise with the hopes that if I can turn them around, I'll prove myself enough to land a better coaching job. But if I'm gonna have any chance at that, I need talent. Akron isn't exactly a prime destination for recruits, and can you blame them? So I'm zeroing in on a few key recruits that, if we can land them, are going to make an immediate impact and help us start winning games. We opened our season on the road against Arkansas State. They would receive the ball to start, and they began driving down the field on us. They would cap off their drive with this pass across the middle as our defense looked non-existent out there. While Arkansas State had drove effortlessly down the field, we had to fight for every yard, even going for it on 4th and 1 to keep the chains moving. And we just couldn't sustain that momentum as they forced another 4th down and we resorted to kicking a field goal. However, Arkansas State would get greedy and throw up this pass into double coverage, and we would manage to intercept it, giving us a chance to take the lead before half. And our offense began warming up a bit, but it would be brought to a screeching halt as our quarterback Bullock panicked and tried to force this ball into the end zone. This would bring us to the end of the half with a score of 7-3. But coming out of halftime, we had a chance to reset and take control. A couple key passes helped us get within scoring distance. And with a clutch roughing the passer call, we were able to punch it into the end zone off a run up the middle, giving us a 3-point lead. And talk about an absolute gut punch, as our defense would fail to bring down their running back twice, allowing him to get into open space and take it to the house for a touchdown. And once again, we were trailing and needed to find a way to answer back. But their defense began locking us up, and on 4th and 3 in the 4th quarter, we knew we had to go for it. And are you kidding me? The wide receiver turns around and doesn't even try to catch the ball. We would turn the ball over and they would punch it in effortlessly to take an 11-point lead late in the 4th quarter. We had to try to get something going, but nothing was working. And on 4th and 18, they managed to force a strip sack and ran it in for a touchdown. And being down 18 points meant that this game was essentially over. We had somehow managed to choke away a close game and let it escalate into an absolute blowout. After that crushing loss to Arkansas State, we hoped for a bounce back against Rutgers, but it was more of the same. They came out strong, and before we knew it, we were down 28-7 and off to an 0-2 start on the season. But week 3 was a new opportunity. We'd be facing FCS East, possibly the easiest team on our schedule. If we couldn't manage to pull off a win against them, our season just might be doomed. Starting the game off strong, we would manage to hold FCS East to a 3-and-out, forcing them to punt the ball away. We then began to move the ball down the field as a couple screenplays and a big breakaway run would get us close to scoring. And our running back would force his way into the end zone to put us up by a score early in the game. FCS East would get a lucky breakaway touchdown run as our defender, who should have been able to make the tackle, was getting choked. We were pretty upset about that missed call, and so we came out on the next drive and began playing even more physically than ever before. We knew that we couldn't possibly lose this game if we were going to somehow salvage this season. And after an extremely long drive, our quarterback would somehow manage to get this pass off, and what a catch! We had regained the lead with only a minute remaining before half. And on a curl route, our DB tried to play the ball from behind the receiver, and the receiver was able to slip away and run it all the way for a touchdown. So going into halftime, we would be tied again at 14-14. But we would be receiving the ball to start the second half. And mounting another drive down the field, things were starting to look good. Until suddenly, an edge rusher got free and managed to get home, sacking our quarterback and bringing up 3rd and 17. With us being unable to convert, we were forced to settle for a field goal to put us up by 3 points. But it would all come down to our defense. If they couldn't manage to hold them, this game might be over. After a few key tackles for losses, we actually managed to hold them, bringing up a crucial 4th and 13 and forcing a punt. Heading into the 4th quarter, we decided to put this one away, as a crazy overthrown pass to our wide open running back is somehow hauled in, and number 15 came up huge by securing that block, allowing our running back to get into the end zone. And being up 10 points so late in the fourth would prove to be enough, as we managed to secure the game-sealing interception. And we had managed to land our first win on the season. So this was going to give us some momentum and we would turn this season around, right? Yeah, no. Our next game was against South Carolina and they absolutely killed any momentum that we had coming off of our win. They moved the ball so efficiently, managing to score 35 points on us by the end of the game. Our offense looked dead out there. We couldn't seem to get anything going, and South Carolina would not let us make a single mistake, or else they would capitalize on it. And heading into the next matchup versus Ohio, it felt like we were starting from scratch again. It felt as if all of our momentum had been obliterated, and now we would have to fight tooth and nail if we wanted to stand any chance of winning this game. And honestly, I don't know what overcame Ohio in this one, as we would face another blowout loss. I mean, you'd think we'd be able to compete with a 1-3 Ohio team, right? But I mean, these guys were playing like rent was due. We had multiple turnovers, and Ohio's offense played extremely well, scoring 38 points to our mere 7. We knew going into this rebuild that it wasn't going to be easy, but that doesn't make the losses any easier. And I'll save you the trouble. Our next game versus BGSU started off close, yet by the end of it, we found ourselves losing by over 3 scores again. If anything, these losses helped highlight the fact that recruiting was going to be crucial to this rebuild. Halfway through the season, we had managed to land a few exciting recruits. We had a 2-star wide receiver, 3-star halfback, and 2 3-star linemen signed already. This was already looking to improve our team massively next season. One of our biggest flaws was our line giving up way too many sacks. And even when our quarterback would get enough time, nobody could get open. So with these additions, our passing game should improve massively. And with the 3-star running back as well, our offense would be getting a massive overhaul. But there was still time in the season, and you're not gonna believe the recruit we end up landing in the offseason. More on that later. But now, back to doing what we do best, losing football games. We would begin facing another blowout loss to Western Michigan. Turnovers would kill us as Western Michigan's offense steamrolled us for 4 quarters. But when facing their cousin Eastern Michigan the week after, this game was different. The game would begin with both teams scoreless until about the second quarter. Trying to hit our running back on a screen pass, Eastern Michigan would jump the route and intercept it, and he practically walked it into the end zone for a pick 6. This would prove huge in this game, as over the next 3 quarters, neither team would manage to score another point. Both teams trading punts and turnovers. This loss was freaking insane. We only needed 1 score to possibly win this game, and we couldn't even come up with anything. And that pick 6 was the only score of the entire game. And at this point, we had seen every type of loss imaginable. Absolute blowouts, close heartbreakers. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. Heading into our matchup against Buffalo, Akron fans didn't know what to expect after the team had struggled to score a single point last week. But imagine their surprise when we managed to drive down the field and score off a quick pass to our tight end, taking an early lead. And as Buffalo began driving down the field, many began thinking, great, here comes the inevitable collapse and blowout loss again. But we jumped their route and picked it off, and we took it back to the house for 6 points. For the first time all season, we were leading a team by 2 scores in a game. But Buffalo must have been studying film, because they hit us right where it hurts most, taking a simple pass all the way to the end zone to narrow our lead to only 7 points. But to end the half, we caught a break on this connection between our quarterback and wide receiver that got us into scoring range. But with the Buffalo defense holding strong, we would have to settle for our guaranteed 3 and enter the half with a 17-7 lead. And we started the second half with an amazing defensive stop, forcing Buffalo to punt the ball away, until we got a roughing the kicker penalty. This would give Buffalo's offense new life as they continued their drive down the field and capped it off with a touchdown to make the score 17-14. We would drive down the field slowly and methodically, looking to waste their timeouts and end the game. And we would successfully manage this as they ran out of timeouts but we came up to a 4th and 3, and we had a huge decision to make. Ultimately, we decided to trust our offense, and we decided to go for it, and they jumped the route. Oh my gosh, and they picked it off. This gave Buffalo a chance to steal this game back with one final drive. Are you kidding me? And of course, with a pass for a huge gain along the sideline, they would already be down in the red zone. And they decided to go for the field goal to tie the game and send it to overtime. But they missed it. We won the game. We had actually done it. After 5 grueling losses straight, we had managed to bounce back and actually win a second game on the season, improving our record to 2-7. And this would prove to be the high point of our season, as the next 3 games, we would find a way to lose in convincing fashion per usual. We never stood a chance against Northern Illinois as they obliterated us 31-7. We had a slight chance against Kent State until an interception turned the tide and we would lose yet again. And our final game on the season versus Toledo was admittedly closer, with the final score being 21-10. Despite all the losses that we had taken on the season, nobody could take away the couple of wins that we had managed to produce. Remember that recruit I mentioned earlier? Yeah, we would manage to land a 3-star quarterback in the offseason, Eric Rachal. And not only him, but we managed to bring in a gem 3-star wide receiver, a 3-star middle linebacker, and a few more 3-star linemen. Sure, these guys might need a little time to develop, but this has the potential to completely change the game starting next season. Because with our new talent and a little bit of off-season training, our team improved to a 79 overall. That is a massive leap in development for just a single year. But with all these new pieces in place, will we be able to turn the corner and become contenders next season? Possibly trying to win a MAC championship? Or will it be more of the same? I guess only time will tell. And hey, if you stuck around through this roller coaster of a season, I just want to say thank you. I know it wasn't pretty, but your support means a lot, and you're helping make this rebuild even more fun. If you're enjoying the journey, make sure you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming next season. And trust me, it's gonna be a wild ride. Also, drop a comment down below. What do you think of our new recruits? Do you think we've got what it takes to turn this ship around, or will we continue struggling next season? I want to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for sticking with me, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.